How's it going, guys? Welcome to the video. It's Adam here. I just want to share my experience with getting my first Kanna plane. As you know, if you've checked out Kanna planes online and thinking about getting one, they don't come ready to use straight out of the box. And to tell you the truth, I was a little bit nervous about getting mine ready by myself. I'd wanted to get a Kanna plane for a number of years, and the last thing that I wanted to do was to stuff it up straight out of the box. Obviously, this is a tool you want to have for many, many years, if not decades, or, the rest of your life. And the last thing I wanted to do was, muck it up. So anyway, I decided to go with the soft lead method. There's a couple of different methods. You can put oil on the back of the blade or lead pencil. I decided to go with pencil, and you can see there the marks of all the high spots that you have to take down. Now, I was a bit nervous about using a chisel on the plane first up, so I decided to go with a file. I found out pretty quickly that the file was going to take way too long, so I had to sort of man up and stick the chisel in there. And to tell you the truth, the timber in the plane is so hard that really there wasn't a real risk of hurting the plane in any way, because the timber is so hard. You just sort of scrape away and plane it away, and it's actually very difficult to get an edge in it anyway, so just sort of scrape away little bits like that. Now, if you're looking for a Kanna plane, I got mine from protooling.com.au. I don't have any affiliation with those guys, but the customer service is so great, so I just want to give them a little bit of a shout out. So if you're looking for Japanese tools, that's where I got this one. So I'm getting pretty close to getting the plane ready to go. Just continuing to put grey lead on the back of the blade, sliding it in, and then just taking off all the high spots to do it. Just tapping the blade back in, flipping it over and feeling the bottom there. So I'm starting to get pretty close there. It's nice and even, and just checking it out and admiring my handiwork. The planes are great to handle in your hand, just a nice solid hunk of wood, super light, and can tell that they're made for accuracy, that's for sure. So there, what I did was I put the blade through the bottom, and to me it felt like it was just sticking through, and I'm going to make my first cut here, and I thought that it wouldn't cut anything. I've got a Western style jack plane, and I've got to really stick the blade through the bottom of the sole to get it to cut anything. I found out pretty quickly that with this Kanna plane, completely different. Now that blade is just over the sole of the plane, just sticking out. And I've had to turn the plane at a 45 there just to get it to cut. Now, of course, I'm on a wobbly bench because I couldn't, I was too excited to set up a proper stationed plane. And Kanna planes, of course, you pull towards yourself. So what I've done is I've got my hip pushed really firmly up against the edge of a bunny style bench just to do this trial. So I'm backing off the plane here and just squaring up the blade a little bit. But when I ran my thumb across there, honestly, I could just feel the blade, just feel it. And I was actually thinking to myself, there's no way this is going to cut. It's not even sticking out, but have a look. So it's pretty incredible, isn't it? It's almost like magic. I can't even tell you, like, there's just a whisker of the blade sticking out, and it's just gliding down. Of course the bench is wobbly, but I start to get into a rhythm here. You can see how easy it's just sort of gliding along the wood. Lucky for me, the sole of the plane was already flat, so I didn't have to do any scraping. I just ran my straight edge across the bottom with one of my squares, and yeah, it was perfectly flat. So these shavings, I was pretty impressed by them. When I held that up through the light, you can almost see the board through the shaving, the board behind it through the shaving, so I was pretty impressed by that. Awesome experience with my first Kanna plane. If you're thinking about it, just go ahead and get one. And that's it. Thanks so much for watching, guys. We'll catch you in the next video.